Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Thorn model number T023. I purchased this watch with my own money. No matter how I get a watch in on this channel though, you're always going to get my honest opinion every single time. And if by the end of this review you do want to pick one of these up, I'll be leaving a couple links down below, one to the official site and one to AliExpress. At the time of recording, the price is $189 US. The official store offered a $20 early bird price, so that's what I paid, $168. And then a little bit later, I paid $150 on AliExpress for the black dial version. So the watch comes in 3 different colorways that you can see on screen now. Take note that the blue one does come with a snowflake dial, so different hands, different dial layout, and also a date window. The watch case and bracelet are made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal with AR coating, screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 200 meters of claimed water resistance, and the watch is powered by the PT5000 automatic movement. So I like this watch. I like it so much that I purchased another one. So it is in the mail, coming to me now. Something only a few watches have ever made me do throughout this watch collecting journey. I'm a sucker for the vintage subs, and this is the best one on the market at the time of this review. Watch Dives is lurking in the corner though. They have one coming out. I've seen the CAD files and the CAD drawings for it. It looks like it's going to be really, really nice. So, but at the time, you can't get that one. So it is coming very soon, but it's not out yet. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing a comparison when that watch comes out for sure. But this watch here, it is very nice. It's just not perfect. So let's get into the full review. But before we do a quick wrist check today. Wearing the Vostra Vector, a watch that might be up in review or not. Might not be, but cool watch. Review either is up now or should be coming soon. Alright, so let's talk about the dimensions. We have a bezel diameter of 40 millimeters, case thickness of 12.3 millimeters, a standard 20 millimeter lug width, a lug tip to lug tip of 46.6 millimeters, sized up for my 7.5 inch wrist with one link removed. It weighs 125 grams. So I really like the size on this. I like that they didn't mess with the original as far as the dimensions go. 40 millimeters, just under 47 lug to lug. Pretty thin as well, 12.3 millimeters. Some of that is taken up by that crystal, which sits above the bezel there, as you can see. But nice, slim mid case. It's a pretty flat mid case, as you can see here. There's basically no turn down at all. But I do still like the way it sits. It kind of sits low and flat and wide on the wrist, and it's just something that I really enjoy about this model. So yeah, I do like the way it wears. I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist. I do really like the way this wears. It wears kind of wide and flat and low to the wrist, as you can see there. Really nice turn down. And I mean, it's just, yeah, it wears really, really good. I'm not really sure what it is about this one, but it just wears a little bit better than some of the other watches in my collection. So really, really liking this one. Been wearing it a lot. And here we are in a little bit of sunlight, just kind of showing off the brown dial, and yeah, it looks good. All right, let's go throw it on some straps. And here we are on a cut to size FKM. It's got a little bit of texture to it. I think it looks really good. Kind of reminds me of a Tropic style strap, but in my opinion, more comfortable and looks better than Tropic. So I like it. I think the crows like it too. And here's one of my favorite straps that I've found for this. This is the dark brown vintage leather from Hemsuit, and it's just an awesome strap, and I think it just matches this watch perfectly. Looks really, really good. And here we are on a leather pass-through strap. Actually, this is a Anachronous Zero Pass strap, so there's no layers underneath it. I just think it looks really, really good. Love the color on this, and really like this strap actually. And lastly, here we are on a nylon strap, just a normal nylon strap, 2 layers underneath the watch there. This is a Cincy Strapco SF2. It's a pretty thin nylon strap, so it's still sitting very nice, very comfortable, and I think it just looks really good. All right, let's go back inside and let's get back to this review. All right, so let's talk about case finishing before I get my fingerprints on it. So on the top of the lugs here, you can see you have an angular brushing. That is pretty typical of these vintage style of watches. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd like to see them add a vertical brushing just to match the bracelet a little bit better, but I understand why they did it. You can see we have polishing on the case flanks here. We've got some nice beveling as well. The transitions between the two surfaces are pretty nice and crisp. The polishing is nice and smooth. I don't see too much in the way of like ripples or anything like that. It's all done very nicely. Flipping it over to the crown side here, we do have a polished signed crown there with the Thorn logo tucked in between these crown guards. This is the kind of squared off crown guards that you see on some models of Rolex. So that's the one they went after. It's not the pointed or rounded crown guards. That's just the design that they went with. I thought it was going to bother me, but I actually kind of like it. And the crown is big enough where it protrudes out of that mid case a little bit, so pretty easy to get your fingers on there. We have drilled lugs as well, which is nice to see. And overall, I mean, the case is done very nicely. The bottom edge here, which is usually a very sharp edge, is not too bad on this model. It's definitely not perfect, but it's far from like what St. Martin used to do or still does on some of their watches. So it's been rounded off pretty nicely, and it feels good on wrist. Flipping it to the case back here, just a sterile case back, Rolex style. Not a huge fan of these. Simple notches would have been a lot better, but it's nicely done. There's no sharp edges or anything on it. Circular brushing on the bottom of the lugs as well. So yeah, not too bad. I don't see any like deal breakers with the case. It's a little bit flatter than I would have liked to see, so maybe Watch Dives can improve on that when they make theirs. But yeah, this one is just a little bit flat, but other than that, I do like the way that it looks. I like the way that it wears. It's been very comfortable. All right, so let's talk about the bezel. So first off, we have an aluminum bezel insert. This one here, it's kind of like a faded seafoamy greenish gray. It looks a little bit green. Sometimes it looks really just gray and ghosted. Other times, I like it a lot. You can see it does have like faux aging on it, so there's little scratches here and there. I think it looks pretty good. I really kind of wish they would have gone more in the direction of gray instead of adding some green to it, but it doesn't bother me. I thought it was going to bother me a little bit, but it really doesn't. We have a lumed pip here at the 12 o'clock, the bezel alignment. I'm actually one click off, so we'll show you the bezel alignment here in just a minute. But the bezel itself, fully polished, as you can see there, polishing everywhere. But I think it looks really good. The grip is very good. The bezel itself, it's actually pretty decent. There's barely any play in it, just a little tiny bit of play, but really not bad at all. The clicks, it's 120 click unidirectional bezel. The clicks feel pretty good. They sound a little light, I'll say, or a little tinny maybe, but really they're not bad at all. The alignment is actually really good on this one here. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to complain about. It's not the perfect bezel, but it's far from being sloppy or unusable or just annoying to use. So I actually do like the bezel on this watch. It's been good for me. All right, so let's talk about the crystal. Test for sapphire. It is positive for sapphire. So we have a box dome style of sapphire crystal with blue and a reflective coating. Doesn't bother me too much, and it's a really nice crystal. I mean, it's got a lot of distortion on the edges there, sits way up above the bezel, looks really good, nice and clear, even at the extreme angles like this. It's a very good crystal. I don't have anything to complain about other than the fact that it seems to pick up fingerprints more than any other crystal that I have. I don't understand why. They obviously have no coating on it or anything like that. So just something for you guys to be aware of. It's a fingerprint magnet. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, I like the crystal a lot. All right, so let's zoom in. We'll talk about the dial on the watch. So I have the Tropic dial, as you can see here. It's got a little bit of like flaking and speck in it up here in this corner, and it's definitely not a consistent dial. It might be the same for every watch, but the specs and stuff like that, you don't really notice it until you get it under really bright lighting. It is a glossy dial, as you can see here. There's a reflection of the seconds hand, so definitely a glossy dial. We have our minute track printed around the outside in kind of a half railroad style. We have our typical diver style of printed markers there at all the hour markers. No date window on this one, so there is a ghost date position. We have the Thorn Legacy Diver text at the 12 o'clock. Then we have some extra text down here. That word right there, you're not supposed to be reading that. They're going to remove that word off the rest of the dial. So yeah, it's just something that I don't know why they put it on there. I told them it was not going to work for them, and they needed to take that off. So they are taking that off. And then we have self-winding rotor. So it kind of got the smiley face on this dial. Other dials are set up just a little bit different, but yeah, this one here looks really good. I do like it a lot. I think the proportions of the hands are nice as well. It's got the vintage style of hands. The Lume match during the daytime seems to be pretty much spot on. Yeah, it looks really good. We have our gold handset color here. The whole colorway just looks very vintagey, and yeah, it looks good. They didn't kind of overcook that patina. So yeah, they did a very nice job on the dial. They did a decent job on the Lume too. So I'm going to pop up a Lume shot here. You can see it against a couple other watches in the collection, and it does all right. I'd say it's like a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10. It hangs in there with the Willard, which I think is pretty good. I can read it throughout the night. It's just not anything that's, you know, really going to blow you away. Not super strong Lume like you see with the watch on the right. So yeah, the Lume is okay, just not awesome. Definitely usable though. So powering the watch is the PT 5000 automatic high beat movement, so 28,800 beats per hour, so nice 8 ticks of the second hand every second. It hacks, hand winds, has a bidirectional winding rotor. These movements are clones of the ETA 2824, so they're going to be reliable, they're going to be accurate. This one has been very accurate for me. That's the time grapher reading, and then I had it on my winder and on wrist for the first 5 days, and it was plus 2 seconds, so I can't complain about that at all. Yeah, this movement has been excellent for me. Yeah, just not a whole lot to complain about. The screw in and screw out action on this, actually pretty good. Nice and smooth screw out action. First position is your hand winding. I would suggest not hand winding this as much as possible. It's one of the fail points of the PT 5000 and all the ETA clone movements, so I try not to hand wind it much at all. You pull it out to the next position here. This is where your ghost date position is. I can hear it clicking around back there and feel it. Pull it out to the next position. It hacks the movement, like I said there. And this is where you set your time. Everything feels really nice. It has a nice tight feeling crown. The crown has very minimal wobble in it as well. And then you push it in. It starts up the movement every single time. Screw in action picks up the threads immediately. And yeah, it screws right down tight. This movement is fully wound at the moment. I had it on my watch winder and I just took it off. So the screw in action is not overly tight or anything like that. Good grip on it as well. So for me, yeah, I've got no issues with the movement, no issues with the crown. It's all done very nicely. All right, so let's get to the bracelet. And this is one place where I feel kind of conflicted. Obviously, this is an homage to a vintage watch, but it's not a vintage watch. We like the upgrades that modern watches give us, like sapphire crystals and high beat movements. So why not do the same to the bracelet? They went the opposite direction. They went vintage style on it. They have a rivet style bracelet with screw links for sizing. It's a double screw system, so it was a total nightmare. I removed one link, and that's all I had to remove, thankfully. If you have to remove more, I'm very sorry. But yeah, it's a little bit light. It's a little bit rattly. You can see the tolerances aren't the best either. There's like gaps in between the links themselves. So yeah, it just kind of feels like a vintage bracelet. I'll say that. So if that's what they were going for, they nailed it. But yeah, I kind of wish we would have had a higher quality option. But yeah, you can just kind of see like the little gaps and the tolerances that are not the best. It's got very nice spring bars. They're solid links. They're solid end links as well. And then the polishing piece, the polished piece there that you see on the outside of each link, that is a separate little piece. And I noticed that the screws weren't super tight when I was sizing this, so I went through and tightened these down, and it did get rid of a little bit of the rattle, but the rattle is still there. But yeah, I mean, it's a very usable bracelet, super comfortable. But yeah, it just could have felt a little bit more high quality. That's really my only complaint about the bracelet. Moving to the clasp here, we have a signed clasp. Cool logo there. Decent brushing on the top there. Polishing on the side, lots of micro adjust. Unfortunately, because of these rivets here, you can only use the first 3 levels of micro adjust. If you move it to this one here, this rivet starts to hit the case and it won't close properly. So really only 3 levels of micro adjust there. And then it's just kind of this, it's not even a double button pusher, it's just a kind of a friction clasp. Again, this is how they did it back in the day. Pressed inner shell as well. Tolerances are pretty decent, so it opens and closes just fine. It's just not the most secure feeling clasp. I'm going to look to try and fix this because it's not my favorite clasp for sure. It is super low profile, super thin, and very comfortable, and I think it looks cool, but yeah, it's just not my favorite clasp system on a watch. So yeah, a little interesting that they went really vintage on the bracelet, but pretty modern on the dial as far as the finishing and the movement and the crystal and all that stuff. So yeah, an interesting decision by Thorn, but I think the bracelet is usable. I think it looks good, and it's very comfortable. So I can't fault them too much. I just wish they would have put a little bit more effort into it. That's all. So there you go, guys. That is the Thorn T023. If you're looking for a vintage Sub Homage, this is the one to get. For right now, this is the one to get. I know Watch Dives, they are working on one, and it's going to give this one a run for its money for sure. It's going to be very nice, priced very similarly, same movement as well, nice and thin like this one is. So yeah, be on the lookout for that one. But in the meantime, this one is pretty darn good, except for the bracelet could use a little bit of work in my opinion. If you guys are okay with that vintage feeling bracelet on a vintage looking watch, then I think you're going to be okay with the bracelet. It's unoffensive. It's just nothing spectacular. So just go in knowing that, and I think you're really going to like this watch. I think it is absolutely beautiful, and there's a reason why this is a classic design. It just looks so good. So yeah, I think that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.